Hello, and I'm afraid I have to start this video with a bit of bad news. See, in the last video I said that there were around 14,500 euros of repair history on this car, but that number has increased just a tiny bit because the car just started revving all on its own just after I made that video. So what I've done is I tried to repair it by exchanging the fuses, which went well. No. No. Then I thought maybe it could be the relay in the engine bay, so I replaced that. No. And when that didn't work, I tried some more, let's say, experimental things.
The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
In the end, I went to a local Alfa Romeo specialist, and 150 euros later, the car sounded like new again. So now, let's go to some cheaper solutions you can do at home. Starting with a can of bumper spray. Just spray a bit on the trim piece itself. Make sure that you don't hit the body panels by mistake. And just rub it in. Make sure you get all the corners and crevices as well. Now let's do the other sides. And here's the end result. On the left side, it is a lot darker than it used to be. But to really see how much improvement we've made, we've got to look at the front. As you can see, the left side is a lot darker than the right one. Another easy fix was putting back the boot liner. I went to a scrapyard and asked them if they had any clips. They had, and they said they didn't need any money for it. So that was a very easy fix. Something I can highly recommend doing is getting some silicone spray and putting it on the rubbers of the car. The light grey rubbers on this Alfa Romeo turned black almost immediately after using it, and they stay that way ever since. So I can highly recommend using that. Another important bit that cannot be overlooked is the engine itself. As you can see, it is quite clean, but it still can be improved upon, especially in these areas. As you can see, there's still a lot of dust and a lot of rust here and there. So I'm going to start with just cleaning it up with a brush, and then using a metal brush to clean out most of the rust. Just to give you an example of how much you can improve it, here you see it before the brush, and now you see it after the first brush. And I must admit, I didn't even know that part was black. I thought it was silver, so that just shows you how much dust there really is. Now I'm going to use the steel brush. You can still see there's some rust, especially on these areas. But that we can take care of by using the last step, which is a simple silver pencil. And after just 2 or 3 minutes you can make it look like this.
Having gone through most of the engine off camera, the end result was very surprising. By using a simple brush to remove the dust and leaves, and cleaning the trim pieces with the same spray I used for the bumpers, the original color came back. Even though most people will never look at their engine, when the time comes to sell it, this easy step can make a big difference.
The emblem of the rim was very easy to remove. As you can see, it's lying there. But I've encountered a small little problem of having a too big emblem to put it back on.
After that I did order the correct size ones, but they kept falling off the rims, so in the end I decided to just revert back to the original ones.
And I haven't got much luck on the boot emblem either. The later versions just simply had a little plaque that you could take off and put the new one back on, but the first ones are just one big piece. And those are quite expensive to get, so let's see if we can work around this problem another way.
And after deciding to use the original emblems, I just cleaned up the wheels and colored in the bolts, and this was the end result. The next bit is going to be the badge. The colors aren't what they used to be, and I've tried replacing the badge, but since this is one big part, it doesn't come off quite as easily as the later models do. The next plan was simply putting a badge in it instead of replacing it, but once I tried that, that didn't look good as well. So what I ended up doing, or going to do, is put my imaginary beret on and paint the colors back.
And after about an hour's work, this is the end result. Now I know it's kind of controversial to do this yourself, especially to an Alfa Romeo, but it's something I've always wanted to do, and I thought if it went horribly wrong, I could always just try and replace it, but the way it looks now, I'm pretty pleased. I'm ecstatic actually. I think it came out very well, way better than I expected. And even though it took me an hour, I think it was well worth the time.